Phil Kessel says that he wants to play again this upcoming season, and he has told NHL teams, including VGK, that he doesn't care if the Ironman streak ends. Should the Golden Knights re-sign Phil Kessel?
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Make sure to subscribe to that brilliant YouTube channel that is run by our guy, Chris Golick. Brilliant. Of course, it is Locked On Golden Knights. Subscribe there and find us wherever you get your podcast, and also on X at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G, at Locked On VGK. We are brought to you today by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. So, Chris, yesterday, Elliot Friedman with the story on Sportsnet about Phil Kessel. He said that Kessel wants the league to know that it doesn't matter if he becomes a part-time player. He doesn't any longer have the desire to be an everyday player, doesn't care if the Ironman streak ends. And Kessel, does he have any ice value? That's what I'm wondering about right now. Should VGK re-sign Phil Kessel to a new contract? I don't feel that he has much left in the tank. Let's start there.
Well, Kessel cares. I mean, he definitely cares about keeping the streak intact. I'm sure he would like to keep the streak intact. Selfish. And I'm sure wherever he goes, he would like to. I don't think so.
That's selfish, bro.
Find me one NHL player that's ever called Phil Kessel selfish.
Me. Oh, not a player.
Okay. That's my argument there. There you go. That's my argument there. That said, I think Kessel at age 35 acknowledges the reality that he might not be an everyday player. In Vegas last year, I don't think he would have been an everyday player if it wasn't for the second year in a row of injuries adding up, not long after the season got started. 36 points for Kessel. That was his lowest since his rookie season, I believe, going all the way back to 07, 08 or something like that with the Boston Bruins. You would have to think, starting with the Vegas routes, if there was any interest and if he did re-sign here, and it would be a little funky. There's only $851,000 in cap space left in Vegas. Right now, Vegas is maxed out at 23 of 23 roster positions, but I don't know how Braden Pahal specifically, if he's still waivers exempt, if he can go up and down, and that would create a spot. I'm not 100% sure on there, but let's just assume money is the only thing. If Kessel wanted to stay in Vegas, he'd have to take $851,000, which I'm sure he probably would be willing to do. Would Kessel, be better than 36 points last season if he were to play all 82 games? I think so. He's familiar with Cassidy's system. Cassidy is familiar with him, and he's good in the locker room.
I felt that the Ironman streak, again, I'm going to go back to this, but I felt it was a distraction. And I thought it was a very ballsy move by Bruce Cassidy to scratch him in the playoffs. I feel as though he's definitely lost a step or two. He asserted himself when he wanted to.
Of course.
He asserted himself when he wanted to. I mean, I'm just being honest here and frank.
No, that could be fair. I mean, listen, he knows how to play the whole season.
Maybe the streak could continue in the AHL.
No, it wouldn't count there. I get what you're saying, and Kessel is a very, very, very long-term seasoned vet, and there definitely were pockets in the regular season where it seemed like Kessel was asserting himself more. Not gonna push back at all on that aspect. There was also times where Kessel's leadership was on display more than other times, particularly near the end of the regular season when the power play wasn't doing too well. You saw a little more. Hey, Chris, close the door, buddy. You saw a little more leadership, him taking the power play aside and stuff like that, and making sure everyone was on the same page.
Chris he's just chomping at the bit to make a prediction of some sort.
He was up early this morning. We heard the rain, so we've been up since 5, watching the rain and stuff.
He's pacing back there.
Yeah.
I would much rather have young legs than Kessel legs. And how much do you pay him? I wouldn't even give him the 800,000.
750 is the minimum.
Okay, 750. I'd give him that and maybe an Oscar Mayer Wiener.
That's the hot dog comment. That's the layup comment right there.
I know that was a layup right there. But
there's a few other places that definitely Kessel could land. Now that he's come out with the Ironman, not as concerned about it.
Well, okay. And one of those places, let's get that plug in for Vegas hockey now, might be Pittsburgh.
I would start. No, I thought about Pittsburgh, but I don't. Pittsburgh is in a weird situation with their salary cap. The first place
little Chris he's on strike.
He was just grabbing a piece of paper. He's drawing or writing a book. He writes books. He literally writes his own books now. It's pretty awesome. Las Vegas history books, actually. Las Vegas history books.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
Kudos.
So back on track here before you yelled at. Back on track here. 4 landing spots that I could possibly see. 3 of them not in Vegas. Vegas still gets an honorable mention because you just don't know. He's a Golden Knight until he's not. That's my concern about that. That's my perspective about Kessel. But if he's going to look for a place where someone can go on a deep run and he can kind of help lead, you can start with maybe the Florida Panthers. Matt Tkachuk can certainly use a role model. The team came unhinged many times in the Stanley Cup final against the Golden Knights, and having someone like Kessel in the locker room, just kind of helping throughout the season and maybe just kind of helping prepare some of the younger players could be a good thing. The most interesting fit looking at rosters and cap situations. How about the Minnesota Wild? Kessel and Marc-Andre Fleury, teammates in Pittsburgh for 2 of those Stanley Cups. You have a lot of, even though Kaprizov, he's 26, he's still a young NHL player. I think he's only coming in his 3rd season now. You got other youngsters like Boldy and Rossi, and he could really, Kessel, could be a real good influence on the locker room. And the last place I would possibly consider for Kessel, not necessarily a contender, but maybe a dark horse to make some noise, Buffalo Sabres. Same deal. A lot of younger players. They were knocking on the door of a playoff run last year. You bring in someone like Kessel and that leadership could be enough to bring a locker room together and see what happens.
Why isn't Vancouver a target? I've said all along that he might go with his good friend Rick Tocchet. Why not?
And that's a fair perspective, honestly. He can certainly help some of the younger players there. But I was talking to my buddy Condos last night a little bit. Vancouver is in this weird identityless position between being a competitor and being in a rebuild. And that's the worst place you can be in the National Hockey League. You're just good enough to where you might make the playoffs. But even if you do, what is your team really going to accomplish? So really the Vancouver Canucks ceiling right now is 7th place in the Pacific and getting wiped out 4-1 by Colorado or Vegas in the first round. And that's literally their ceiling for the next 2 or 3 seasons, unless they do a little more to help out Pettersson, who, by the way, is a restricted free agent. And obviously really? We've seen some more stuff making the circles about my perspectives on Pettersson.
Later.
Okay, you got something there.
Yeah, we got okay. We got to give you a shout out later.
I'll take it.
The other thing is, if VGK does re-sign him, he's a depth player, and is he a player that could platoon, in all seriousness now, with a Mark Stone?
Okay, so you're suggesting if Mark Stone has condition management in the sense that where he's not going to play a full season.
He will not play every game.
No, I see what you're saying. I mean, you're not going to simply say, okay, Mark Stone plays 41 games. Yeah.
Injuries and over under 49 and a hook.
No, that's a great, and honestly, that would be better than Stone's last 2 seasons as far as games played, 49 and a hook if it hits the over. I think he's played 80 out of a possible 164 or 84 out of a whatever the number is. It's basically half a season. Great in the playoffs. That'll fuel the fire for other people to debate about that. Unfortunate for Vegas, but yes, that could be a possibility for Kessel to see more ice time. Kessel line 2 between or on the side of Stevenson, and whether it's Howden or Dorofeev or Amadio gets up there, that could be an interesting dynamic. And you definitely would prefer to see Kessel. This is the tricky part with Kessel. You'd prefer not to see him in the bottom 6. He will not be a 4th line player. You don't want to see him on the 3rd line necessarily. Like, Kessel is responsible. He's responsible. Like, he's not going to do something to risk. He'd rather take an ice and dump the puck or get across the red line and take a 12-second shift and get off the ice versus trying to make that extra play. But when the team is caught in the defensive zone and stuff like that, that could be a concern when Kessel is out there.
Okay, why is Kessel playing tonight? Again, 1,064 straight games, big deal. It doesn't matter. No one's going to touch it. If he landed at 1,000, I still don't think anyone was going to come close.
We all got egos. We all got egos. And you don't want to, and we as people don't want to let it go sometimes.
Before I never let anything go, as you know. But before I would sign a Kessel, I would say, okay, how many games can you give us where you're going to try? Where you're going to try. You're not just going out there for a streak anymore. How many games will you give us where you are going to give us 100% and assert yourself on both ends of the ice? That's my question.
It's a fair question, and I understand. I don't like it, but I understand what you're saying, and I think that goes back to Kessel has now acknowledged the situation. He scored 36 points last year in a role where he was throwing around the top 9.
It's not bad, by the way.
It's fine. I mean, for $1.5 million and the investment to the locker room that Kessel offered, the Golden Knights hit value as far as money well spent. I mean, you look back at immediately after the Stanley Cup final, March or so, and Eichel, both on the podcast and the shows they were appearing on, they were both doing Phil Kessel impressions and stories and stuff like that. And those are the stuff we heard about. Imagine stuff that happened that we didn't hear about involving Kessel, but it's all positive. It's all love for having him on the team. Will a team approach him and say, hey, what do you they might ask what he's got left in the tank, stuff like that. They're not going to say, hey, are you going to turn on and off and stuff like that? But I think
right.
there's a market for him. Last season, Kelly McCrimmon signed Phil Kessel. I believe it was the 24th of August. So we're a little, we're right around right now when Kessel got signed to Vegas. So, now the calendar officially turned September. Yikes, that's crazy. And we're off to a rainy, cloudy, stormy start. But Kessel, I would set the over-under by this Friday. At the least, it's going to surface that there's offers on the table, some teams mentioned. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 7 calendar days, if Kessel was packing his bags for another team.
They do have a hashtag, Let Phil Play. That is starting to circulate, which is kind of funny.
I'll tell you right now, I'm sure Phil feels that's I don't want to say an appropriate word, but I'm sure Phil just looks at that and smiles and scoffs at it.
17 years, I think, is enough. I think he's had an illustrious NHL career.
And you think that's enough? He might not think that's enough, though.
I had heard, again, those rumors that he was looking to play in Switzerland, of all places, somewhere abroad. But we'll have to keep an eye on this. And final question. Will Phil Kessel, hashtag Let Phil Play, will he be a Vegas Golden Knight this upcoming season?
If the only answers are yes or no, without me being able to go on a long-winded explanation, the answer is no. I mean,
yeah, I believe
there's better opportunities for him elsewhere, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, nothing in the land of Kelly McCrimmon, hashtag McCrimmel plan, should ever surprise someone in Southern Nevada.
Hashtag let McCrimmel
cook.
Or let him cook. Coming up next, VGK is going to have 15 games nationally televised. And that's something that we'll talk about when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and from YouTube TV. Now's the best time to join FanDuel. The app is very easy to use. It could be something that you bet on everything from point spreads to player props and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer that you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the National Football League. We are back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Thank you so much, and especially to our everydayers. And coming up in just a few moments, it is our weekly feature, WTF, What the Friday. Do you know who came up with NFL Sunday Ticket?
It's going to be an interesting nugget that you're about to give us. I don't know the answer to that.
I interviewed John Taffer, and John Taffer came up with the NFL Sunday Ticket. That's who came up with it.
Does he have?
Could watch every game.
Does he have like an affiliation with the NFL? I honestly don't know.
No, he just came up with this idea.
Did he sell it? I'm assuming he sold the NFL.
Oh yeah. He sold it to them. Yeah.
Friend of Vegas. See him all over the Nitron during the games.
Yeah. NFL Rescue, I think they call that plan, something like that.
Sunday Ticket's great. Red Zone, so much fun. So especially if you love fantasy football, so much
I think
fun.
It was Red Zone initially, the name, but it evolved into Sunday Ticket. But yeah, that was his premise. So
fun.
Okay, so I got to try to tie in a VGK nugget in there.
It was tied to Vegas.
So tell Chris to put that in his book, Chris Jr.
He will.
VGK will be on national television 15 times this upcoming season. I think it was something like 8 last year. I can't recall.
This is definitely their record as far as most national TV games.
So this is between ESPN and TNT. TNT, the better coverage, as we know. 8 games on TNT.
Yeah.
8 games on TNT, 5 games on ESPN, and then ESPN Plus and Hulu have the rest. It's better, as I mentioned, than last year. And the #1 team with the most, I can't get the number, but I saw a headline that Edmonton has the most nationally televised games here in the U.S. What is this love affair with the Oilers?
It's not the old. Okay, if Michael Jordan was playing basketball still, what basketball team should have the most number of national TV games?
Okay.
That's what it is right there. It's selling McDavid to the U.S. market, and the
great NHL Canadian hope.
This goes back to so a tie-in to a previous story that we've talked about on the show. Dana White's comments about the NHL not being great at marketing and stuff like that. He had some other choice words to put it, but we'll use the PG version of what he said. And he made a comment, I think, specifically about McDavid being, or maybe it was Snoop Dogg that made the comment about McDavid, but either way, someone made a comment about McDavid needs to be, all over the place. And, Tony's got light now. Needs to be the one who is marketed and, just become the poster boy. I hate that term, but the poster boy for the NHL. And I mean, there's no more exciting player in this game. And there's not going to be a more exciting player in this game for a half decade or more. So Oilers should get the most national TV games. And obviously I'm biased because McDavid is by far my favorite hockey player on the planet.
Okay. And are these games going to be blacked out here in Vegas? That's the issue we had last year. But we do have 69 games that will be streamed on Scripps on the sports package there in Las Vegas. Some of their games will be televised live on Channel 13, which will be cool. There's one preseason game on ESPN. That's against Colorado on October the 5th. And then ESPN has the opener October 10th against Seattle, and January 1st on TNT, the outdoor game against the Kraken as well. Are you going to go to that game? I know you were talking about.
I'm thinking about it. I might try, and there's two. If there's two trips I would like to make this year, if it makes sense. I want to go down to Arizona for a game and just see a game there and cover it from a media perspective. And then if the stars align, I would like to go to Seattle. I just don't want. I know it's tax write-off, whatever. We're gonna get into that, but I just don't know if I want to be away from the family on New Year's Eve. We kind of have like our nice little traditions and stuff like that and all that. But we celebrate at 9:00 though. We celebrate with the ball drop and go up and back, or we go drive somewhere. So I don't know. Go
early in the morning, early flight.
I wouldn't be against that, but it probably starts like at noon local time. Good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's probably noon or 1-ish. You're right.
I mean, if I get like a red-eye flight out of here and land, get a little nap somewhere in Seattle Center, and take they actually have a great light rail like right from downtown. You can either take it like directly down to where it's Lumen Field and where the base and T-Mobile Park where the baseball team plays, and Lumen is obviously the former CenturyLink Field where the Seahawks play. Otherwise, if you're staying in that downtown area, they have another like monorail that takes you directly to where the Kia, or it used to be Kia Arena, now it's Climate Pledge, but it's actually really easy to get around as a sporting venue from the downtown area in Seattle. Kind of cool.
Okay, thank you so much for that perspective of all the venues in Seattle.
I like Seattle. Pearl Jam, come on.
I know, same here. Coming up next, it's WTF What the Friday. Stay with us. Don't go away. Right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every day. And we will be on every day relatively soon.
2 weeks.
You think in a couple of weeks?
September, like the week of right around when the rookie face off is
showcase face off, just whatever.
I think I'll probably be like the 18th, whatever that Monday is around there.
Would you take us around the venues here, WTF in Las Vegas too, while you're at it?
I mean, we know the venues out here. There's no light rail that takes us around. Otherwise, I would. We need a light
underground
rail.
Wow, we need a light rail. Tunnels. We got the tunnels,
bro. And they're talking about extending that too, right? Like all over the place.
Yeah, but it takes to build one of those tunnels. It takes a year. So in the next 50 years, we'll have the city wired. Okay, time for WTF.
We already started.
Time for WTF. Okay, so correct me here if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
So you can take photos with the Stanley Cup if you are a season ticket holder. What are the dates? When is that? Is that coming up soon?
I don't know yet. We got our notification. We can sign up today, Friday, starting at 9 a.m. So by the time this show is public, I'll have already known that. But supposedly some season ticket holders.
That was your idea too. Yeah, that was your idea, by the way.
My idea. Yeah.
No, you said why don't they have it for season ticket holders? So
but I felt they were going to. Also
in any event, only season ticket holders, from what I hear, that renewed their season ticket package can go and take a photo with the Stanley Cup. B stinking S and WT stinking F. The fans that were there to support this team during the Stanley Cup run here, they can't get to take a photo with the Stanley Cup. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, only if you renewed can you go and get a photo with the Stanley Cup that they won because you were a season ticket holder and you were there for all 41 games and supporting this team, but now they're gouging the heck out of you. WTF.
It's fair. I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm not going to argue it. I get both sides of it.
Wanted a debate, man.
There's nothing. No, it's hard to debate that. And then you have the non-season ticket holders also saying, hey, we got, we may not shell out $40,000 a season for tickets or whatever the number is nowadays, but we're a part of this too. And everyone in Nevada, Southern Nevada, and even not just Nevada, everyone that supported this team is all in it together, and everyone should have an opportunity. But unfortunately, there's probably 300,000 people that would sign up for an open opportunity to walk by the Stanley Cup, get a picture, and move on. So,
absolutely weak sauce. That's just bad. That's bad. Poor judgment.
It's fair. I can't argue that. I can't. I don't want to argue it, but I can't argue it either.
Okay, so go with the WTF.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. All right, so
I'll give it to you.
So the Washington Capitals are really pulling at my heartstrings here. My birthday is January 12th. January 11th, they're doing they're giving me a reason to maybe want to go out to fly out to Washington and catch a hockey game, because it's Sonny Milano,
yeah.
Chia Milano. It's like a little bust of Sonny Milano, but it's a chia pet, like the chia hair, and his hair is going to grow. So
Great.
It's really making me want to take a trip. So WTF, the Washington Capitals, for really giving me a reason to want to go check out their venue. And then another WTF here. Buffalo Sabres, they averaged 15,000 and change last season as far as attendance goes on a nightly basis. That was a significant increase from a year-over-year perspective as well, because the team is doing better. Credit them fans for showing up and supporting. So the Sabres have this brilliant marketing strategy lined up to help fill the arena. They are doing the geographical limitation on people buying tickets. So if you're not within a certain radius of that Buffalo market, they're going to do their best to at least limit your pre-sale opportunity. If I'm running an arena now and only 83% is my capacity on a nightly basis, I don't care if it's visiting fans. I don't care if it's neutral hockey fans. I don't care if it's non-hockey fans. I want 98% or more of my arena full on a nightly basis, and people spending $15 on beer and $18 on popcorn and everything else. So WTF Buffalo Sabres for coming up with a brilliant marketing plan to not fill their arena next season.
Okay, we've got one from @TylerHillman14. Absolutely love the new center ice logo, but I'm still waiting for more on that Winter Classic leak. I know it's early, but I miss hockey too much. WTF.
Waiting for Winter Classic, what, huh?
Well, the logo for the Winter Classic, right? That they're going to have at center ice.
Talk about like jerseys. Okay. Yeah, cool.
All that. WTF. WTF. Could someone out there in TV land please explain how to watch the Vegas Golden Knights this upcoming season? Because the fans are so confused. There's so much confusion here, Chris.
I've seen the comments. So easiest way to explain it, you turn on channel 34, which technically is not, it's 34 on DirecTV and 38 on Cox. But I think specifically Rita pointed out where you have to physically, because DirecTV, I guess, and I could be wrong on this, but DirecTV has multiple ways to utilize their service. You can go old school the way you would do it, Tony, and put the put the satellite dish and the rabbit ears on your roof or wherever they put it, and you point it whatever direction it needs to point, and boom, you got your satellite. You're good to go. But I guess they also have a streaming deal through DirecTV where you don't need that. It's kind of like cutting the cord, but you still have the cord, and however that works. But I guess you can't get it through the streaming situation. So there's questions. There's definitely questions, and I have faith in the Golden Knights being able to make sure this is all addressed, because as important as it is, the spending money to go into the venue and buying those $15, $17, $18 beers and stuff like that, the TV deal probably is a better revenue generator at the end of the day. So they'll get this all figured out. I got a good feeling about that.
Okay, one follow-up, Lewis Gregory @LewDog777 to the Golden Knights and Scripps Sports. Why are the streaming and cord cutter options for the upcoming season set up? Not set up yet, I believe. #WTF. Okay.
Most people that cut the cord already know the option, but that's okay.
Mega WTF here, going out to our guy, Airman Chris Golick @Skynet VGK. Do you know who that is? Do you know that person? Can I say that on the air? Golick stirring up blank.
Oh.
Making Vancouver fans go on tilt.
That's pretty funny, actually.
There's a YouTube channel, and it was something called titled "Come On," and they quote you. Why are you being quoted so much? This is kind of funny. It is funny. WTF.
Listen, I'll defend my take all day.
No. Don't defend anything. Get those clicks. Get those subscribers.
No. But it's not about. I don't know if this is the right thing to say. I can care less. I appreciate everyone watching this show. I appreciate everyone that does click on the Vegas Hockey Now articles.
Come on, Kessel. Come on.
But at the end of the
Ironman streak.
At the end of the day, Kessel. I just have perspectives, and if you read them, cool. If you don't, that's fine.
And
but
we love them. Keep them
here's
coming,
what I
dude.
will say. Here's what I will say. If Elias Pettersson was on the Vegas Golden Knights right now, and Marchessault and Stevenson were not, the Golden Knights are a better team, and that's definitely even truer next year.
Ooh. Gone deep there over the fences.
That? I mean, you want to take. Again, there you go.
At deep H20.
Did I get another one?
In LV, WTF? How are we going to stream the VGK? No, someone needs to address this, man. WTF? Here's a good one from Triple AUT Hockey. WTF? No players went to Ogden on the road trip. Oh well, still glad they made a stop in Utah. My 4-year-old loves chance. WTF?
What's up?
Come on, man.
Talk about
Ogden, Utah. Ogden, Utah on the tour.
Right. Well, why?
No players showed up. Why not?
Oh, okay. So that was a stop on the tour, but there was no players.
They got stiffed, and in fact, I thought that they was at the fourth stop because they kind of quit after 3. Whoever was running stuff just stopped posting photos, and then we got a late edition from Ogden, Utah. Isn't that the land that Bill Foley's going to steal in case we see Arizona trying to move there? The Coyotes.
Okay. Now you connected the dots there nicely. I get that. That's actually pretty good. They're going to Houston if they're not going to stay in Arizona, but that's another discussion for another time. I mean, this is an example of just take. Like everyone just has their hand out with the Golden Knights, and players unannounced, show up. I'm not blaming the fans, but I'm simply saying there was no players announced, right? I think it was just, this is coming and come check it out. And randomly Logan Thompson happened to be at one of the stops, and Derek England was at some of the stops. And you had Shane Knighty and Dave Gosher talking about, doing just basically sitting in a pub with a couple of beers, telling stories. Like, this is good. Unfortunately, maybe players couldn't make one of the stops, but it was still there, and it's all good. It's all good. It's okay. It's okay.
Coming up tomorrow, fans, Aiden Hill will be doing the coin toss at
this is cool.
UNLV. Yeah, so that'll be cool. Does he show up with a Larry Johnson jersey?
He's the same one. He's going to be there in a tank top. It's book it.
Isn't that going to be great?
Book it
if he does.
Is that a big game for UNLV? Forgive me, or is this
no? They play it well. They play against the Bryant Bulldogs, a lower division team, but a team that they're very much aware of because they're pretty explosive offensively. Should be a fun game to watch. And UNLV is aware. It's not like they're going to overlook this team, but it'll be fun. I'll be down there on the sidelines, and I get a chance perhaps to ask Aiden Hill that big question. So that big question. No, I can't steal your thunder, WTF. I shouldn't ask. Why everyone's taking the water photos with the Stanley Cup. That's your question.
I was going to say, if ask me to figure out what to do with his hands yet.
Yeah, that's getting a little old. Maybe,
but now I guarantee no one's asked him that since I did at the softball
since
game.
You did, you're the only one that
he'll be like, "Oh, great, you know this guy."
It goes not the Golic question again. Jeez Louise.
Ask him what he has in store for us for warm-ups. If he has a new trick besides flicking the puck behind his back, if he's been practicing.
Oh, you like that one? That's right. You do like that one. The other one would be: is there friction between you and Logan Thompson?
I wouldn't say, I wouldn't frame it like friction. I would just say, are you welcoming a healthy goalie competition next year? And
come on,
see what his read is. If he's holding a beer, you'll get a better response.
Yeah, that would be great. Beer in one hand and the coin in the other. Let's do it. That'd be fun.
So let's get a poll. But what kind of beer would it be?
He's got to do something.
Heineken. They were all drinking Heineken at the softball game.
Heineken and Bud Light. Bud Light was the sponsor of the parade, so that's what they were drinking. But
perfect.
In any event, that's a wrap for us for this show. Monday's a holiday. Have a safe, happy Labor Day weekend. Can't believe we're here already, right? So we're going to be on hiatus maybe for that one day. We'll be back on Tuesday. Let's go Tuesday. This is how we figure out.
Yeah, I got a busy weekend. Yeah, Tuesday.
I'll put some notes on a napkin and we'll figure things out.
We got monster trucks on this weekend at the Orleans. The Hot Wheels Glow show, Saturday and Sunday, 2 shows each.
You're going?
We're going Sunday, yeah. But it's like it's going to be in the dark, but the trucks have like LED lights on them and stuff, and it's going to be a good time. Actually, can't wait for it.
Yeah, kind of like me on the show in the dark. I'm in the dark. Thanks so much for Chris Golick. Can you see me yet? For my man Chris Golick.
Show's over.
I'm Tony Cardasco. Appreciate the everydayers. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have a happy and safe holiday weekend. We'll see you again on Tuesday right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.